Yes, I'm Channing Curtis.
And I'm Tim Pham. We have a lot to get to on this Wednesday morning, but we want to get right to Nicole Hernandez, who's filling in for meteorologist Thomas Patrick this morning. And Nicole, we are counting down the hours because tomorrow it is fall, y'all.
It's going to be fall, y'all.
It is pumpkin spice, sweater weather.
Yes.
It kind of feels like sweater weather this morning, though. Almost feels like fall today.
It does. It definitely does. If you see me crying later today, it's because
we know why.
I'm wearing black. I'm mourning I'm mourning summer. It's fine. I love summer. I know a lot of people are excited about fall, but let's take a look outside because look at this. It's the final sunrise of summer. At least for this year. We'll see it next year. Don't you worry, it's coming back. But like Tim mentioned, sweater weather this morning. It is 50 degrees. We started at 52 around 4:30. Then we jumped out to 51. Now we're at 50. We're going to continue dropping until the sun rises and can start warming us up. So take a look here at our temperatures across the region. We actually at 40s in both Wenatchee and Moses Lake. Again, 50 in Spokane. Coeur d'Alene is at 51 and Sandpoint is at 52 degrees. Now we are tracking some rain that's going to hit us later today into tomorrow. For now, we're nice and clear. We're going to be nice and sunny through our Wednesday, through our last day of summer. We're going to be sunny and nice, but then we are tracking that system moving its way up towards us here starting Wednesday evening into the night and through tomorrow as well. So you can see that big blob of green there, all that rain coming to hit us tomorrow. We'll talk more about exactly where that's going to hit and when that's going to hit and how much we're going to get here in a few minutes in the full weather forecast. But for now, let's talk about today because again, it's the last day of summer and we're going to feel like the last day of summer. We're going to be for the most part sunny and 76 degrees as a high.
There's a public safety and a public health issue that has not been addressed by the state, so the city has had to step in and do that.
This morning, in the latest chapter of the ongoing battle in the homeless encampment near I-90 and Freya, the state is firing back at the city of Spokane. 3 state agencies sent a letter in response to Spokane's demands to clear the tent city in East Central before October 14th. Now, because of that letter, hundreds of people living at the camp on WSDOT land will not be clearing out anytime soon.
So now we obtained a copy of and read through the letter from WSDOT. It says that the city's timeline is unrealistic and that the city has failed in taking responsibility for the continued growth of the camp. Now, the 3-page letter is a joint statement between the DOT, Commerce Department, and Washington State Patrol. In the first page, they list 4 actions that can be taken for the camp to be removed from state land. Those items include the offering of shelter and services to people living at the camp, secure storage of belongings, safety and security for people on site, as well as for work crews, and the restoration and cleanup of the property. Now, the letter goes on to explain, quote, "This is not the first time this has been explained to the city, yet the city remains resolute that homelessness and those experiencing it is a state problem and not a local one," end quote.
The letter also includes a reminder the camp originally started at City Hall in December of 2021 to protest the city's inaction in providing housing for people experiencing homelessness. Here's a portion of the letter WSDOT sent when the group moved to the land near I-90. WSDOT reached out to city officials immediately to let you know what was happening and the challenges associated with it in hopes of partnering with the city to proactively and productively address the encampment and, more importantly, the challenges its residents faced. The letter ends by stating, quote, "We look forward to meeting with the city to chart a path forward later this week." If you do want to read that full 3-page letter from WSDOT, you can find that right now on our website, KREM.com.
Now, you can also text the word letter to our number 509-448-2000, and we'll send you a link right to your phone with all of that information. Now, when that letter actually first came out yesterday afternoon, we were the first to speak to Mayor Nadine Woodward about where the city goes from here.
KREM 2's Janelle Finch dug deeper and asked the mayor those tough questions.
3 state agencies are taking aim at the city and Mayor Nadine Woodward, calling out a lack of responsibility when considering Spokane's homeless crisis. I sat down with Mayor Woodward and she tells me the city has been putting in the work to do what it can within its means. In the letter addressed to the city, the Washington Department of Transportation, Department of Commerce, and State Patrol claim Spokane has lacked accountability. But Mayor Woodward says the growth of the encampment was, quote, allowed because WSDOT wouldn't do anything about activity on their property, end quote. She says the city has worked to create housing options on the ground level, but in the state's letter, the 3 agencies claim the city has failed to create long-term and meaningful solutions. if you have any thoughts on that, where they say, like, it fails to acknowledge the city's responsibility for much of the hard work necessary to find long-term, meaningful solutions for the residents and businesses living and operating near Camp Hope.
Well, we've been meeting with those individuals during this entire 10 months that encampment has been there. And so the resolution for them is that the encampment is gone. And so we are working on that. In addition, we have opened a number of shelters for housing, and we are working on options. We have been in discussions with WashDOT since the encampment started, because we wanted WashDOT to remove the garbage, to provide security and safety measures, and it didn't happen. So the city had to step in and do that.
The mayor says she already had a meeting scheduled with WashDOT for today. She says they originally planned to discuss expectations on how to best move people off the land and into housing. However, now, following the release of this letter, she says its contents will also be discussed at today's meeting. In the studio, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
Now, earlier this week, the Spokane City Council updated their illegal camping ordinance. People sleeping in tents in certain parts of downtown Spokane and along the Spokane River can now be cited. Some people are worried that will shift campers to neighborhoods. We spoke to a Browns Addition resident who says that he has seen more transient people moving into the area.
I don't want to see it get bad in any neighborhood, but it's, these people have to find a place to go, and they're going to go as close as they can to where they are right now. I think it does have to be enforced to a degree. It causes a lot of problems.
The Browns Addition Neighborhood Council Chair says they are aware of people experiencing homelessness moving into the neighborhood. Residents are being told to report code violations, and the council chair says they are working with a resource officer to keep anyone dangerous off the streets.
We also received word the city of Spokane put Jules Helping Hands on notice to remove that cooling tent set up at the I-90 camp. The city's fire marshal is demanding the tent be removed by tomorrow at 4 p.m. That's Thursday. If it is not removed, a $536 fine will be issued every day it is still standing. KREM 2 will be there tomorrow to see what happens. And we are continuing our coverage of the growing homeless crisis around the inland Northwest. For our latest reporting and coverage on its impact, you can text the word homeless to the number 509-448-2000.
Just about 6:09, let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. An update to a story of a man who was killed after being trapped under a truck. New information from Spokane police shows that the truck did not belong to the man, and it appears that he may have been trying to steal a catalytic converter. Spokane police say that when they arrived at the place Monday night, they found that the man was stuck underneath the truck and that a jack used to lift the truck had failed. Well, a Post Falls man is in jail for distribution of child pornography. 29-year-old Travis Jordan Dawson was arrested for distributing and having child porn. Several online tips led to police investigating him. Dawson's digital devices have been submitted for an in-depth search. An investigation is ongoing. Well, 10 passengers are safe this morning after the plane they crashed in, or the plane they were in rather, crashed and caught on fire at the Tri-Cities airport yesterday morning. The private plane touched down with no landing gear, and you can see just how much damage was done to the plane. Now, thankfully, all of the passengers made it out of the plane safely, and Pasco Fire quickly arrived on the scene. The airfield did close due to debris on the runway, but it was reopened hours later. And in Coeur d'Alene, a $75,000 public art project will be dedicated on Friday. The monument to peace and unity is meant to be a, quote, commitment to eliminate racism and prejudice. It will stand 24 feet tall and will be considered the gateway to downtown, being placed at the Four Corners intersection. The dedication will take place this Friday at 10:30 in the morning. And that's a look at your morning rush.